I've got an orange tinge.
Very tingy.
We good?
Ah.
Oh, we're on?
Oh, we on?
I didn't know.
It's my first day.
It's only episode 229.
It's 2:30, buddy.
230?
Yeah.
I thought it was 229.
You walk through 229.
You know, they all can't be great. Before we get into the podcast with some good Xmas, did you know X means Christ in Greece and in Greek? That's why you go Xmas?
That's not real.
Look it up. Google that shit. I used to have fights with Christian people that would go, I don't call it Xmas because that's blasphemous. And then I Googled it when Google was first around, when it had little, like 3 pubes, when Google like 1998.
Right.
And
and you found the answer you were
X
looking
means
for.
Christ.
It was enough research.
Right. Google enough until I get it right.
The correct right-wing websites that you need, extreme right.
We are already off the track. Sweat Equity Podcast and streaming show, Pragmatic Entrepreneurial Advice with Dick Jokes. Get that dick tie around your neck. Hosted by me, Law Smith. Sitting to my right, stage left, is Eric Reginger. Hitting the soundboard as well and producing while co-hosting. Multi-talented.
We'll do it live.
If you were a resume builder, you'd call him a Swiss Army knife. Hashtag GirthyRI, hashtag 69B2B, and hashtag Sweat Equity. When you share this podcast out to the friends that need some pragmatic business advice and maybe just sage-like wisdom from 2 35-year-old white males.
Right. They need more of that.
Rate, review, give us that 5-star. We're on everything podcasts are on that Apple Podcast app, your mom's Walkman, Spotify, Zune. We're even on Zune. Go on YouTube, Facebook, and Vimeo. We're all on there. And then we got to figure out LinkedIn Live. Someone at LinkedIn.
Abraham LinkedIn. Hit us up.
LinkedIn. Let's get some Emancipation Proclamation on our newsfeed. We can't go LinkedIn Live. I want to do it. I think we're the perfect show for it. Yeah. We'll taper it back a little bit for LinkedIn, or we'll get a cough button, a mute button.
Pretend like we will.
I'll do the sponsors really quick. This episode is brought to you by Grasshopper Business Phone Line. Don't have a Google Voice. If you're trying to do your own side hustle, try grasshopper.com/sweat. That gets you $50 off your business phone line. Gets us a little how's your father for this show? You know what I'm saying? Couple shekels. While you're at it, you might as well get some accounting software that can also invoice those clients, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to send it through PayPal as an invoice. It's an option, but it's not favorable. FreshBooks is the way to go.
Jobber.
It's less of a transaction cost than QuickBooks and Xero. And you get that direct deposit the next day. I can't emphasize that enough.
Give me money.
Go freshbooks.com/sweat. That gets you a hookup. I think it gets you about $100 off of the software if you use it for the year. That's $100 off.
Pretty good.
We're getting into tax season. I see the Liberty tax weirdos already out in the street. And then we got Warby Parker, warbyparkertrial.com/sweat. Get your glasses prescription or your sunglasses, get them done online. They'll send you 5 free pairs. Try on. Get the ladies in your life to make fun of you. Get the ladies in the office to pick out the right ones like I did. And I got my prescription ones done. Warby Parker, warbyparkertrial.com/sweat. And these links will be in the episode description, as well as Trirone.com.
Oh, yeah.
The newest workout gear, the best workout gear. Be that influencer amongst your friends.
Makes them feel stupid for not having Roan gear.
This is like the high-end. Yeah, it's the high-end Under Armour.
The next big thing.
It's all about the stitching, the way they stitch it differently. It's high-quality workout gear. We got to get some to represent on this show, because otherwise I'm just going to wear white trash tank tops like I'm doing right now with a big old zit. You see this zit right here?
We all see it. Yes, thank you.
Right there? You see it?
Hold on. Give me a minute. Let's get it close up there. Get that zit in there. Gross. Yes.
I tried to pick it on the way over here.
Made it worse.
I had a scab, and then it got like Mount Vesuvius on me. Are we ready to get this thing going?
Yeah.
What about my sweat
equity? Johnny!
Sweat equity. Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity. sweat equity? What about my sweat equity?
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
It's gonna be hard to have that not be funny.
I know. We were listening to it for fun before
Yeah.
the show started, just because.
That manager Lou Brown
Yeah.
is.
It's either a leg thing, or a spiritual thing, or a psychological thing.
It's great.
It could be
Every
the rum
time.
and coke. I don't know.
That doesn't matter.
You
As
know,
long as we're having fun.
well, we're dressed down today.
What?
You know, we're usually in suits,
Right.
business casuals. You know, the blazer.
Well, it's fantasy football championship weekend, everybody. Gotta get in the comfortable mood.
Well, I'd like
sit
to
in,
say
settle
that
in.
when other podcasts are taking a break, the big dogs out there, we're still hammering through.
We're still inconveniencing our families. You know, we don't give
Your
a shit.
kids are waiting on it. They're
They're
waiting
outside.
on
They've
us
been
to
banging
go
on the
do
front door this whole time.
a Christmas scavenger hunt with the rest of the family. And we're like, no, we got to talk about Famunda cheese and digital marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
27 minutes, kids,
Yeah,
to your scavenger hunt.
you're gonna like walk up. They're gonna be like, well, we already did it. We've
Oh,
been done for
Christmas,
20
that
minutes.
memory is gone.
Who cares about Dad?
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
don't care.
Tell me about. I like your attitude about having your drink. You teased it for the incremental, the podcast, your solo podcasts that you don't do. But I like.
This theoretical podcast I have. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I have one called Work Smarter Not Harder that I've yet to do because I can't get around. It's like, to me, that first one is like listening to the podcast or stand-up comedy, like listening to yourself back. Like,
Yeah, no thanks.
you have to get over that hump and then it's fine. Then you're
Yeah.
gravy. But that first couple times is horrible.
Yeah.
It's like watching yourself fuck, you know, the first couple of times.
All my hidden cameras.
I mean, masturbate.
Whoa.
Well, I
Well,
want
that's to get better.
I want to have
right?
good form. I
Right,
don't
you
want to
gotta
like
get
have
better.
tennis elbow
Right.
or get Tommy John surgery one day.
Perfect
Throw it out.
practice makes perfect.
Right. Right.
Well, I was saying, we're like 36 years old now.
You're 36.
We need to, as a society, figure out what drink you can drink and not get hungover and handle yourself, because I've been drinking Captain Morgan for 15 years now. Oddly enough, not like I'm proud of it, but
it's bullshit that it has become like what high schoolers. I don't know if it's high schooler kind of drink everywhere around the country. I didn't know if that was more of a rum
you
Florida
mean
thing.
just the rum and cokes?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't care, for one thing. It's like, what are you gonna do? Make fun of me? Go for it.
Right. Well, you've already been. Yeah,
It's just
your soul's already been hurt so much.
I know. Like, what do you get? I don't even have feelings to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, but I figured out Captain tastes good to me. Captain makes me not hungover. I know when to dial it back. It's kind of hard for me to get out of control when I'm drinking Captain. It's kind of, it hits a plateau and I'm kind of good. And that's different for everybody, but figure it out, guys.
Well, and
It's important.
I was even thinking. I wasn't even thinking that way. That's a better way to think about it. I was thinking like just legit, like you're walking into a party with your wife and she just knows what to get you.
Yes, that's also a
Like
plus.
to me, that's like way better than anything because you're not gonna really beat a hangover
Yeah,
if you party right.
right.
You know, bro. You're doing whippets in the parking
No,
lot.
we went to a Christmas party recently, and I just straight up bring my own little bar, where it's like 100 people at a party. I have my little Publix bag. I set it
Wait a
outside on
minute.
the patio.
Hold on, let's back this
I got
up.
my Captain. I got
You've
my
never
Coke
talked
Zero.
about this.
I got ice sitting out there. I don't need to go inside for ice. Just like, ooh, I don't offer anybody.
Wait, you bring in your own,
Yes.
and I'm not even
It's
thinking.
a party, not like. I mean, these are like old
You bring
friends.
in a grocery bag, but not. I was thinking a plastic grocery
No,
bag.
like the green ones that.
I use it
don't
as a
destroy the
cooler
planet.
too, because it's plastic.
It's a bag slash cooler.
I'm not gonna buy a cardboard cooler.
Briefcase. It's also a briefcase on Monday.
But wait,
But I mean, it plays into the like. I'm good. I don't need to worry about. Oh, do they have my drink? Do they have what I want to? I
Yeah.
get two things. I bring two things and some ice. I'm good.
Yeah, and then last night I took it out of your keto kind of playbook, and I'm like, okay, I was about to get some Tito's, and then I was like, I don't really, you can't
Tito ketos.
Tito keto. There. Oh, what's funny is, by the way, this is funny in a marketing sense. As soon as a diet becomes quasi popular, you ever seen the chart of marketing groups before? You have early adopters. You have like what's it called? Most people are in the laggard area, right? Think of the iPhone, right?
Right.
Like when it came out in 2006, maybe you and I were some of the first. Like we're not the first 5%.
We're not waiting in line at Best Buy.
But we're the early adopters, right? We might get the second phone,
Right.
And then that middle glut of the bell curve is just laggard. That's how they kind of break up marketing groups.
Right. Right.
The diet stuff's always funny because I'm walking around a fucking liquor store, which is like, just give up. Like, what are you doing?
Where's your keto section?
Like, you can mitigate risk, fat risk, I guess, by doing the rum and Diet Coke, rum and Coke Zero. It's just as bad for you, though. Any alcohol is going to be bad for you. You're taking a little bit of an L.
Sure.
When you walk through the threshold of the corporate liquor store.
There is a way to mitigate it,
Yeah, but yeah. And then what I was thinking was like Slim Fast has it like the shakes that say keto, and I'm like, I looked at it, I was like, man, Eric would get ripped through that, like go through the back of that packaging and just
give me those nutrition
this
facts
shit
now.
isn't
Give me here.
keto at all. Like,
Yeah.
you could just put keto in anything.
Yeah. There's been
Or paleo, whatever you want.
I've had a lot of conversations with people. It's like, yeah, I'm on paleo. I only eat 4 apples a day. I'm like, oh, never mind.
My new thing is
let me finish.
I'm trying to never give dieting advice or workout advice again unless someone asks.
Yes.
That's tough.
Right.
Because someone will half ask you and then you get into it because you're like, you have to be kind of obsessive about it to really make a change in your life.
Exactly.
And it should be more interesting. But every time I get out of that conversation, I feel like a bigger douche than when I came into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way I look at both now, or just anything physical, is there's definitely not one rule everybody can follow, right? That's why this will always be
Exactly.
Democrats and Republicans fighting, right? Like, we need one to balance out the other kind of thing.
I mean,
our American system kind of works well, I think, because we could do a lot more probably if we didn't bitch as much, but at least we have this way of bitching so much that it keeps the other in check in one direction.
Okay. I think I get it.
Well, and
What?
And in this way, maybe I had a sip of rum and Coke and I'm drunk, but in this way, I look at like diet, exercise stuff like in a similar way of there's so much garbage out there, advice-wise, that you're just gonna have to figure it out on your own.
Well,
man.
exactly. Yeah.
You're your own science experiment is how I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, there's the side where it's like there's a lot of people who just want to just tell me what I need to do, tell me exactly what I need to eat, work it out for me perfectly, and I can do that sort of thing. But really, it's like, man, I don't say that like everybody should be keto. I like it. I feel better doing it that way, but there's people, they feel really shitty and like they don't want to get past that like initial like downtime because you do kind of have like when you get into ketosis at first, they have a keto flu. It does happen. You do feel like you're dying, just not. Your body is reacting to not having this fuel that it's used to having, so it goes into immune system mode. But that's people are gonna feel differently. There's no one way to do it, and if you're not taking time to figure it out for yourself, like, dude, that's just you gotta figure that out, and then you can live your life.
Well, here's how I think about it. It's all hypothesis, right? Because we're gonna get into January, and everyone's like, "All right, this is 2020
at the gym.
My vision is 2020."
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this, and this, and this. And everybody, I think, like, what is it? 90% of people do not carry their New Year's resolutions by February or something crazy like that.
I don't know, but that sounds right.
I'm pretty sure we brought it up on this show last year because it's like that's such an astounding but real, like I believe it.
Yeah.
Stat. That's why all gyms, if you look at how gym memberships work, like that business model, you can't have all the members go there.
Oh no.
Right.
Like if they, yeah, exactly.
It's a volume thing, right?
Fire department's here.
Think Walmart over Tiffany's kind of thing. If you're looking at just basic kind of Porter's 5 factors or whatever, you got differentiation or you got the same but volume, and like the thing with I love that the gym model is basically like you guys are going to burn out by March,
right?
And that's the only way that model works.
And we encourage you to do so because if you didn't, we'd be fucked.
Right. No, like it literally can't have capacity of all the members there at even like broken up times. If they were there at the rush hour times, the morning and the afternoon time.
I'm sure there's an algorithm that says, if your capacity is this, you can only have this so many members,
If they gave a shit to do it, I don't think they're doing Moneyball kind of. I think they just know human behavior.
Yeah, it'd be interesting
because
it's probably in my literature over there. I should be studying.
Yeah, well, but the studying's going to be good for you. I think that's it. It sounds like a slog because you don't want to do it right now, but it's always good. Per advice of Power Business attorney Stephen Fantetti, he's like, he really had to push this into my head the last couple of years. Is like have multiple revenue streams, have multiple things going on, but don't max yourself out.
Right.
He's like, you're doing a lot of shit for free that you can't put 100% into, and that's where you're getting fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's at the very least, it's a great exercise for my brain. I haven't studied really for something in a long time where it's like the most. You
have to sit down and be quiet. That sucks.
Oh, well, I mean, just a new facet to it all. It's like, I can't study at my house, really.
Yeah.
If I try and study, I have to, lock myself in a room and say, you're not doing laundry. It's not even like I'm, dicking around. It's like, oh, well, that needs to be cleaned. This needs to be done.
I do the same thing.
Shit.
It's
weird.
We're working on getting an office for the new gig I've got, and they're penetrating into the Florida market, so it's kind of so it's kind of like I want to be a team player. I'm like, my computer's fine. You don't have to buy that. I don't need a corporate one. That's a waste of money to me.
Right.
I can work from home for a while, but now it's getting to the point where it's like, I was just talking about this before I came over here. It's like, there's always something to do when you have little kids.
Yep.
And, I'll spend a lot. I think we can both kind of multitask. Not meaning, here's another thing, same with the diet stuff, advice. When you hear multitasking, people think you're literally spinning 5 plates at once.
Yeah.
And
most of the time it's 2 things.
But if you really look at how to spin plates, here's how you do it.
Here we go.
Have you ever seen a guy do it?
Yes.
What does he do?
I don't know. I stopped paying attention because this is stupid.
Or like a Harlem Globetrotter guy.
Okay, now we're talking.
Spinning balls.
Yes.
On the fingers, right?
You had me at balls.
Colorful balls. And so leathery balls. Yeah. How come Manscaped
For the red, white, and blue.
We can't get a Manscaped podcast sponsorship. They're sponsoring everybody but us.
Yeah. We really haven't tried.
It's like an attack. So if you ever see someone spin plates or a Harlem Globetrotter spin a bunch of basketballs,
or eat off a plate.
He starts one, right? Gets it going.
Yes.
Then he'll go to the second one. He doesn't do 2 hands simultaneously and then does it by 2 with everything, right?
Yeah.
That's multitasking to me. Is you
you
start
get it
this
started.
thing. I'm going to go to 2.
Still spinning.
I'm going to go to the third one. I'm going to come back to 1, make sure that's good.
Dog shit on the floor.
And then eventually I've got a system. Then I can throw a 4th thing in there. And that's kind of how I see the workday. But people they like to tell you just like the diet shit where they go,
you got to do it this way.
Well, right. Or you don't know, or you can't multitask. No one can truly multitask. And you're like, well, we got to break that fucking definition down.
Yeah. It's an efficiency thing. Lots of times, Like, there's lots of times where it's like, it's a good thing to walk away from something, do something else.
Yeah, they say Bill
come
Clinton
back
could
to
like
it.
read a book at the same time he could be in a conversation with you.
Get a blowjob.
Yeah, but that's like, okay, there you go.
That works too, right?
That's another one that like I don't get. Like guys are like,
coming?
yeah, did you get roadhead? And you're like, no,
No, that would be unsafe.
I've never even asked for it. Like, that seems like two things that I'm not. No, that's too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Driving, you need kind of all your faculties. I don't even want to sneeze while I'm driving, right? Let alone have something like that.
Yeah.
Now, giving roadhead to yourself, that's a different
Now
ball
that,
game.
brother.
Jacking off while driving, money.
Okay.
Did you come?
I'm gonna hit this more than I've ever hit it before.
But I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, though? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, that's too much. That you've probably got dad issues or something if you're like super into that. There's something there's some void you're fulfilling.
Uh-huh.
The pilot, you know how like a lot of pilots are alcoholics and shit.
Right.
A lot of like badass attorneys are too, because they need that's the thrill seeking gene kind of thing. High functioning, but thrill seeking.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Like,
I don't know.
I had a
Sorry, I
sniff
lost the
of
camera.
rum and coke.
And
And
now you're popping off.
how's your fantasy squad doing? All I could do is think about. I talked to a friend that left our fantasy league. He got demoted. There's a secondary league of all the flunkies.
Like the European soccer teams.
Exactly.
You got to get in.
They
like
formed
that.
it themselves. It's not our system. It just kind of organically happened where everyone's like, "Fuck those guys in that league," because you get hated on pretty bad in ours. And I go, "Was it better? Is it like, how is it?"
Was he bigger than me?
And he's right. And he's like, I was like, man, you know what? I spend I don't want to know how much time I spend like on fantasy football.
Yeah.
And I bet you get something out of it. It's probably not all a waste of time. Like you're probably thinking analytically and you're probably thinking statistically because it really is a stats nerd game if you break it down.
Yeah, well, I mean, fantasy baseball is where it gets really nerdy, and that's why I like it more.
But same
can nerd
same
out
with fantasy
harder.
football, right? You're just dealing with a different sample size, so you're doing.
Which makes it less mathematical.
But if you play both, you're going. Well, yeah and no, because you're also trying to triangulate a bunch of data to fulfill the games played kind of thing.
Yeah, yes, but you would agree that football is going to be much more random on a week-to-week basis than baseball.
Because of sample size.
Yeah,
So
baseball
that's
just works itself out.
But that's why it's
But it
harder.
can be more frustrating.
That's why it's harder to project. But that's why a lot of bettors see more opportunity in football a lot of the time, especially college.
Yeah.
That's why those daily fantasy things are kind of the most evil things of
Fun
all, because
shit.
what you're doing on the stock market, at least from the perspective of when I used to work at a mutual fund company, is they're all about finding the undervalued companies, throwing them together, 5,000 stocks of undervalued companies,
Right.
and calling it a small micro fund. They were the riskiest of all mutual funds, right? With the daily fantasy, it's kind of like that on a very, very, very micro scale. But it's like, I'm trying to find Gregor Jr.
Yeah.
for the Eagles. The guy wasn't even playing like 3 weeks
Right.
ago. They don't know about him.
But that's what makes it fun.
What's his price, right?
Right. But it's not even just the price. It's like you got to think about how many people might. Because if you want to go for that number one spot, like you got to have you got to see something that nobody else saw. Because there's so many. When there's 100,000 entries,
And then
chances are you're going to be splitting it.
that's like a fallacy of like delusions of grandeur,
Right.
right? Like you're going to figure this out over
Ain't
betting
nobody
companies.
as smart as me.
Right. That's what's great about it.
I don't care how many supercomputers you have calculating these things.
So maybe fantasy football does have some kind of like, it does keep you in check because you're going to lose. 11 out of your 12 people in your league are going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
so maybe it does go, you're not,
Right.
And you're not going to win every year either if you're in a good league.
Yeah.
Our shit, no, I don't think anybody's won back-to-back in 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ours, we had a woman win 4 years in a row.
Well,
My wife.
that's your first problem.
Dude, there was nothing we could do.
They're
tried
smarter
everything.
than us, right?
tried
Just
everything.
pander.
Nah. Total luck. Total luck.
By the way, pragmatic advice, I put it in the episode post on Facebook. but if I forget to do this because it is Christmas and it's the 22nd as we record this, this is good for future. This could be for birthday gifts. This could be for Valentine's Day. If you want to know what to get your ladies for Christmas as a gift, go to their Pinterest, go on their profile, and look on their Pinterest boards. What is Pinterest, you say? It's a vision board of all the shit you want.
Yes. It's pretty simple.
I felt like I was Don Draper when I figured that out. I was like, oh, I am Don Draper, and walk out of the room with my dork out. Like,
what was the big revelation?
That you can basically figure out what your woman wants for Christmas without having to ask them and without having to do a lot of heavy lifting.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
I used to be really good at keeping like Christmas gift ideas throughout the year in Evernote.
Oh wow.
Well, once I got really unorganized this last year, those kind of things fall by the wayside. However, it reminded me when you need to scramble like most guys do. It's the 22nd right now. I guarantee someone's gonna listen to this. Is like, oh yes.
Oh no!
Because to really give me a good gift giver is like you doing that test you're taking. It's like you got to sit down and really be thoughtful and go, okay,
right.
What are all the conversations we've had?
Think, stupid.
I had to do that for my mom yesterday. I was like, I got to get her something good.
Oh.
And it's like, all right, I had to like turn everything off and sit at my table for like 10 minutes. Like, I got it. She has pictures of all her grandkids when they're one. She doesn't have one of my daughter. She doesn't have one of my nephew. Silver pewter frame. I'll go get that done. Eric can Photoshop my nephew. If he didn't get a professional one when he was a baby, we'll figure it out. Or I'll get on Fiverr and get someone to help me with Photoshop or something. But we'll get them all done, and I'll be a hero.
That's the first thing you should think of.
No, but I had to like imagine their condo.
Like the job. That's what parents expect at our age at this point. It's like, all right, the pictures are coming. We know that's coming. What is the thoughtful thing he's going to give us?
Thoughtfulness is tough. That's what makes people good gift givers, though. I mean, you really have to sit down. It's almost like a prayer. You have to sit down and just think about that person and situation, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why, like I told you, when I do the to-do list in the morning, like put in the gratitude top 3, I just make a random top 3 of like, I'm happy I can breathe without issues. Like even shit like that. It makes you think about it throughout the day.
Yeah.
Those
are bad days when that's the top 3.
Yeah. No,
at least I'm breathing.
I try to do it like a Rorschach test. Like, what's the top 3 that come in your head? Not like, what's the most important, because then I'll never finish
the Rorschach
that.
tests are the things that, like, what do you see?
Yeah.
It's a big vagina. It's a vagina every time, just so you know. That's the answer. Vagina.
By the way, talked with
dick.
our friend of the program.
Also logos, or either dicks or
That's
vaginas.
what I'm saying. I talked with our friend of the program, Fergus, who will come on at some point, hopefully. But he was saying, because he's got that VR surgery stuff.
Yeah.
And it's in Tampa, too, which is like, this feels like it should be in Boston. Like, near MIT. You know what I'm saying? Like, I put him on, and I was like, holy shit. And it was like, it was too much. Like, I almost passed out. But what's it called? What I'm saying is, I told him that theory. I was like, we came up with it on the podcast, I think, that all logos are dicks or vaginas. And he was like, yeah. And then we're at this place, Hotel Bar, and hotel is like on the shaft.
It
and
works.
Bars written out on balls.
I don't have my Forest Hills Dental shirt on, but I was like, Nikki, that's got 3 dicks in it.
Everything. And I go, show me.
And a vagina, kind of.
Show me the VR, it's called Immerse Tech or something like that. Immerse Tech. And it's like, it looks like a Venn diagram. I go, that's a vagina.
That's a vagina, obviously.
Yeah. It could be 3.
Go ahead. Have fun with it, everyone.
Yeah.
Go out and look at the next logo you look at and see if it's got a dick or a vagina.
Airbnb?
That's both. Remember? That was one we did. That one has both.
Yeah, that's the best of both worlds.
Right. That's
Yeah.
the best kind.
You pay more for that in Thailand.
Yeah.
But it's what's the other one? The college football playoff one. Is they try to make a college football on a trophy, but it just looks like a vagina.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot more dick ones out there than anything.
Right. Yeah.
That's how we design things. Look at these microphones.
I know. Total dick.
They don't. The snowball.
This doesn't have to be like this.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
It should be vagina shaped, like a big cone around our heads.
They're better listeners.
things aren't even lit. These things on.
Yeah, we're just talking to ham radio.
Just comes back at us.
What else you got? Anything else? I think we're right at that point. Right?
We're getting there.
Okay.
I don't know. What were we talking about?
I've got something about. Well, you've got Elf on the Shelf, funness.
Oh, well, I had a situation with the Elf on the Shelf where Paulie the dog ate his face off, and we had to act quickly.
He's the 120-pound golden retriever sitting in between us right
Currently
now.
farting between us. Yeah,
He's a good boy, though.
Yeah, I had to. I got home and he ate the elf, and then I had to go around looking for around the house looking for elf face fragments to make sure the kids aren't traumatized by that. So thinking on my feet, type up a little letter, dear Avery.
That was pretty
Rocco.
short. I was impressed.
I had to go back to the North Pole. Blah blah blah.
You put it on like parchment paper,
printer paper.
papyrus.
I did. I rolled it up and put
Yeah,
a little
you made it-
ribbon around so that they, it looked very
Like when you make a
official.
pirate map, you crumple it up and then you.
Yes. Yeah, you burn it a little bit so it looks
Right.
all good, But
Newsflash,
Looked authentic.
asshole!
but
From Barbie the elf?
It got us where we need to be, so it gives us a year to get another elf on the shelf. So if that happens to you guys, I can send you the doc.
Well,
Word doc.
I think
You
one
copy and
thing
paste.
we can't put on our LinkedIn profile or resume or whatever is that we had
We're
to think,
amazing at tricking kids.
Yeah, that too, with my white van without windows. It says free candy on the side. No, it's that thing of you think on the fly. We had to think on the fly so much that you get like just really good at it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's actually
I
it
put
is
this fire out.
like contingency planning, like instinctually almost because you've had to do it so much.
Yeah.
And I think people don't look at that as like a real valuable skill.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
it better be because that's that's going to come up. So anything's going to come up.
It's like
You got to have a contingency for everything.
like improv and conversations, kind of like that's like a clear example, right? Like
yeah.
doing this podcast, pinging back and forth. We have to listen to each other and play off of each other, but actually make it a conversation that's worth listening to as well. But like, if we're not like this subject's just getting boring, let's go to the next one. Like we're not doing it like that. It's just
Right.
we know when it's gonna kind of
Right.
move on to the next thing. That's your contingency planning, right?
That helps.
That helps. That's passive aggressive, but it helps.
It's pretty obvious.
We'll leave this episode on this because I thought it was really funny. I don't think I brought it up last episode. I'm walking my dogs around my building. It's got like probably 1,000 people that live in my building. There's a huge dog park across the street.
Right.
I didn't bring this up.
I don't
right?
think so, no.
And you know how like you move into a neighborhood and you wait too long to get people's names,
Yeah.
and you're just like, I know that person.
Can't ask now. Too late now.
Right, but I've had more conversations with them than like most of my good friends this year.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
Is it the same people at the gym?
Right.
Like that guy?
Yeah.
With the milk jug of whatever blue liquid he drinks, antifreeze or something.
Yeah.
You're like,
a
I've
cutting
talked-
phase.
That
He's
guy's
cutting.
awesome. What's
He's
that guy's
cutting.
name? I have no idea. No clue.
I create stories about these.
Right. This guy does roids. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I'm not going in the locker room when he's there because I feel like my wiener is
Danger.
going to be not that big. And so, what's it called? So, this girl that's in my building, she has a dog that's similar to one of my dogs. And then we're talking about it, and we talk about this. It's a huge dog park across the street. The city did it. It's under an underpass, which I think is a great use of land. Like props to the city of Tampa for doing that.
Yeah.
Where they failed so many times about planning the city because we have like 18th in population for Metropolis and like top 5 in traffic.
Okay. You
no
could
big
have
deal.
just made it nice, but you
No
had
big
to-
deal. But well, it's like laid out by cokeheads from the 70s and 80s. The way the city's kind of gridded out. So yeah. Don't worry about it. Just put
The
another.
three-way street.
Yeah, just
you
put
ever
it-
seen that shit before? No.
Oh no, we'll do what Chicago did, and we'll just put fucking high-rise interstates on top of streets.
Right.
That'll work. We're not even that congested, but we're gonna do it anyway.
More streets.
So anyway, we're talking about it. She's like, "Oh yeah, I don't even let." I'm like, "Yeah, I let my dogs run in there when there's no other dogs. Like if I'm up early, 5 a.m., there's no dogs out there. I'll let them run around by themselves, or really late at night, midnight or something. There's no one out there." And she's like, oh, I don't even take my dog out there anymore because my dog got sick from it. I was like, what happened? Like, the dog got HPV. And I was like, what?
What?
Dogs can get
What?
Dogs can get that?
What?
And this is my point about spatial awareness, like the Southwest flight attendants that have asses too big to go down the aisle.
Uh-huh.
She's not spatially aware at this moment. I look down. This is like a Woody Allen movie. Like, she's telling me, like, yeah, my dog got HPV. Like, can you believe that? And I look down, and my dogs are, like, licking the shit out of her dog's face. Like, making out as much as two dogs can make out with one dog's face.
Did you
Both my dogs are, and I'm like, but what? You knew you had this information before I did. Why did you let these dogs do this?
Yeah.
We're not friends anymore because I was
testing?
like, whatever your name is, like,
Lady.
lady with big shoulders. Like,
Lady
what's
four.
the fuck? So that was, that was like, God damn it. Some people are not aware.
I will
like,
watch that
shit.
cup you're drinking out of from there.
What about my sweat equity?
SweatEquityPod.com on your FM dial. Tune in to the biggest balls of them all. DJ Suck, T-Nuts.
We'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
What about my sweat equity?